Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Senator Gloria Romero. I'm the Majority Leader of the California State Senate. This is my district in the California State Senate. In fact, I live right around the hill, so what happens at Lincoln High School is very important to me. And I can think of no better place than here at Abraham Lincoln High School for students and parents and senators and union members and school administrators to stand together to say that this is about the future of our country, and we call upon the governor of the state of California to not destroy public education in California. Now, the irony is that the year 2008, it was supposed to be the year of education. But barely 3 months into the year, and with the governor's January proposal to cut almost $5 billion out of education, I think the year of education is not happening. It feels more like the year in the Chinese New Year, the year of the rat. And we are calling upon the governor, don't be that rat. Unfortunately, if we look at California, we are already ranked number 47 out of 50 states when it comes to education funding. And the governor's proposal only makes it a race to the bottom of the nation. If the governor's proposal is allowed to go forward, we may lose up to a third of the state's teaching force. Up to 107,000 teachers may get pink slips in the next couple of weeks. About 137,000 classified support employees may be losing their jobs. Each one of these students here may be losing some $800 per student for their education. And here at Lincoln High School, with the enrollment of about 2,500 students, you do the math, that is a big dent in education here. In Los Angeles Unified, some 22 schools could close. That means 62,000 students would have to find somewhere to go. We will not permit this, but it's going to take the people to stand up and fight, because if the governor gets his way, in reality, it will be a total recall of the golden dream here in California. So I'm very proud to stand with my colleagues in the California State Senate, with parents and classified and so many others, to call upon the governor to exercise leadership. If Governor Wilson could find a way out of a multi-billion-dollar deficit in the 1990s, this governor should use his political capital to not decimate education in the year when we still have time to make it the year of education. We cannot slash our way further. Yes, there's rooms for reforms that don't cost money, but we cannot take California completely into the basement and leave it there. I am one of those senators who are calling upon the governor to tell him we cannot simply cut our way out of the crisis. Mr. Governor, use your leadership, put money on the table. We're happy to meet you at the table. Bring your Republican colleagues in the party with you, and together we can figure out a way to make sure that we save education in California. Now, it is my honor to introduce the chair of the Education Committee in California. He represents the adjacent district. He's a leader on education, Senator Jack Scott.
Thank you, Senator Romero. All you have to do is look behind me at all these students and the students who are here on this campus to know how devastating it would be to deny them the opportunities that we as Californians want to give them. Actually, the math simply says that we would have to make a cut of $2 million to this school alone. That's disastrous. That would mean art and music and band and so many things that you do here would have to be put on the chopping block. That would mean that dedicated teachers would have to be laid off. That would mean that class sizes would have to get larger, and therefore the teaching would be less effective. We cannot let this happen. Education represents almost 50% of the state budget, and education represents the future of the state of California. Now, friends, in order to get out of this, it's not necessary for us to do it strictly by cutting. We must look at ways to raise revenues. It would be like trying to repair your automobile with only half a toolbox. We've got to be willing to say, yes, all of us will join in. All of us are willing to make some sacrifice for our schools. We're not going to balance this budget on the back of our school children. To do that would be reprehensible. So I'm glad to join Senator Romero, and all these two other senators are here with me that are senators from the Los Angeles area. There are also some leaders of teachers and classified staff and students. They're all here. Why? Because this is a moment when we must all stand together and say no. No to disastrous cuts. Yes to the fact that we will continue to support education. No to the fact that we will take away $800 from every student. And yes to the fact that we will do all that we can to fulfill the California dream by education. So thank you for coming out today. You represent the future, and we'll do all that we can. But we want you to write the governor and to write your legislators and say no to cuts in education. Thank you.
Next, we're honored to have with us Senator Alex Padilla. He is one of the youngest members of the California State Senate, and he's also one who chairs a very important select committee on making sure that these high school students have a pathway and access to a college education. He represents the San Fernando Valley. Senator Alex Padilla.
Thank you, Senator Romero, and I'm proud to stand with you and all of our colleagues and supporters here to say no to the governor's proposed cuts to education. You know, in the Capitol, we sometimes fall into this trap of a debate between do we have a spending problem or do we have a revenue problem? And the governor far too often keeps saying we have a spending problem. But in a way, I actually agree. We do have a spending problem because we don't spend enough in education. Mr. Governor, we don't spend enough in education. And these cuts that would put California at the back of the class when it comes to national rankings are not acceptable. And so we're going to fight, and we're going to fight, and we're going to say no to the governor's proposed education cuts. Reconocemos que hay prensa en español y queremos decir también en español que estamos aquí unidos para oponernos a los recortes propuestos del gobernador Schwarzenegger. Al comenzar este año, según él, este iba a ser el año de educación, de reformar y a mejorar nuestro sistema de escuelas públicas. Luego salen sus propuestas de hacer recortes en el presupuesto para educación pública en el Estado. Estamos oponidos, estamos unidos en diciendo al gobernador que no vamos a aceptar, no vamos a aguantar sus recortes. So I want to ask all the students here who are in public schools today and who dream and aspire to go to college, when the governor says he wants to cut education, what are we going to say? No! Mr. Governor, what do we think about your education cuts? No! Mr. Governor, what do we think about your education cuts? No! And we're going to have to keep saying it until we balance the budget in a very responsible way. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. And we are very fortunate to have with us our strongest member in the Senate Democratic Caucus. He always reminds us that we're a team, and a team works together. You're seeing the education team in California. This is being replicated up and down the state. But proudly, here with us today, Senator Eddie Vincent.
Thank you very, very, very much. I'm very happy to be here, and I just want to take my hat off and salute Senator Romero for the work she's doing up there, and Jack Scott. I'm talking about education, but the work Jack Scott, he's one of the leaders up there in education, and Senator Padilla, he's always there when you need him. My thing is, I don't do a lot of talking, but I'll say this. Since I've been in the Senate and the Assembly, we're going to make a way for young children, because it's very important. Everybody talks about education, but education takes money. You can't get there for nothing. But we do have a situation which most of you don't know about. It's called Cal Grants. And I've been doing it in my area for about 3 years. That's if you don't have the money to go to school, get involved with the Cal Grant, come to our office, make your application, and there's ways to do things that many of you don't know about. But Jack Scott here and Mr. Padilla and Gloria, they've helped me along this way. So we want to help you. It's not what you want, it's what you need, and that's an education. And if you get an education, you're on your own, and you can go where you want to go. And I want to thank Gloria for even inviting me here. So I'm proud to be here. Thank you so very much.
Well, you've heard from the legislators. It will be incumbent upon us to vote on this budget. But we want to, and we've heard the words of the educators, the ones who are in the classroom on a day-to-day basis. It's my honor to bring forward the person who allowed us to come to the school today. He's the Chief Education Steward for Lincoln High School, the principal, Mr. James Molina.
Well, my boss, the Superintendent Brewer, is here, and he will be telling us soon how this is going to impact us directly. But in trying to plan and trying to think about what these cuts might mean to us, I've written a list of a few things, and I'll read a couple of them to you. One thing that will happen almost immediately is the class sizes will probably grow. In other words, classes will be bigger. There'll be more students with fewer teachers. A lot of the young teachers who are very, very difficult to find, especially in areas like math and science and special ed, they'll be the first to go, the young teachers. Elective programs like music and art, they will suffer because it's very difficult to maintain a fine arts program when you have to cut well, you can't cut an English teacher or a math teacher. The others you are usually the first to go. And one of the other things I want to say that about a year ago we began to hear about the Quality Education Enforcement Act, and we were very fortunate to win some of that funding, and that was supposed to help us reduce class size. And so we were looking forward to having classes that were no bigger than 27 students to each teacher. Well, that pretty much goes by the boards, because if the state budgets are cut, all KIA does for us is help us maintain, if we can maintain it all. So what we thought was going to be a real boon to education here at Lincoln High School will hurt if these budgets go through. So I just want to encourage everybody to think very, very strongly and hard about the budget cuts and figure out what you can do to let the governor know that we think if they're going to do some cutting, cut it someplace else, don't cut education. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Molina. This really is the bucket list. And with your permission, we will deliver this list to the governor on Monday, and probably every school district should start making their own bucket list, because this adds up to the future of all of these students in California. Let me now, it's our honor to have with us today the superintendent of the largest district in California, the second largest in the nation. What happens in Los Angeles Unified School District affects the entire state of California. We are so honored to have with us today somebody who's taken the helm of LA fighting for education, our Superintendent Brewer. Thank you so much for being with us.
Well, I'd like to thank Senator Romero, and congratulations on being the majority leader, Senator Jack Scott, Senator Alex Padilla, and Senator Ed Vincent for coming and highlighting to you all exactly just how serious this budget cut is. Let me put this in perspective. That budget cut equals $460 million out of the LA Unified School District budget. That's $500 million. As you heard, that's equivalent of 22 schools, but if we don't do that, that's the equivalent of cutting every employee's pay by 8%. Now you think about that. We're in a declining economic situation, and you're going to cut, we could have to cut 8% of our employees' paychecks. That doesn't work. The math doesn't work. The economics do not work. But more importantly, if you mortgage the future by cutting education, guess what happens? You do not get high-quality graduates. You increase your dropout rate, which could probably precipitate the increase in crime. Senator Romero and I have had some very powerful conversations about that. There are 170,000 people incarcerated in this state. You could expect for that to go up. You're in a death spiral if you cut education. We should be trying to find more money for education. Now, we're not crazy. We understand that there is a real deficit here, and Senator Scott made it very clear. You look for cuts, but you also have to look for revenue. So we're going to do our part. Duffy and I, UTLA president, congratulations again, reelected. The bottom line to this is that we have come together. We're going to find efficiencies in the system. I am going to even look for my own revenue generation. I just called for a meeting, a roundtable meeting of all the superintendents up in Sacramento. We're going to meet Monday, the 10th of March, to talk about things that we can do to help ourselves. But no matter what we do, we will not find $4.8 billion. That just can't happen. We should be increasing the amount of money coming in. We had great plans here in LA Unified. We were bringing in new languages like Chinese and other languages so that we could be a world-class and competitive environment. We're talking about bringing in international baccalaureate programs for our high schools. We're creating smaller class sizes that you heard Principal Molina talk about. All of that stuff is now gone because of this budget cut. We can't afford this. So I want to say, are any parents here? Yeah, okay, parents, get on the phone. Start writing letters. Start visiting. You have to tell everybody in Sacramento that this is totally unacceptable. And I'm going to be standing right behind you because I took this job for one reason, because I am interested in educating children. I am going to fight for kids, and you better believe my 36 years of military experience is getting ready to come out, baby. I'm going to fight. Thank you.
All right. All right. The Admiral's back. Okay, we also know that we cannot deliver education without the men and women who are actually in the classroom and in the support services. It's my honor to present to you now Michael Bilbray. He is the second vice president of the California School Employees Association.
Thank you, Senator Romero. Again, my name is Michael Bilbray, and I am a classified employee in the Citrus Community College District for the last 20 years, as well as the Association Vice President of CSCA, where we represent 230,000 members throughout the state of California in schools up and down the state. School employees like myself provide essential services for our students, our teachers, and our administrators. We take care of campus safety, cleaning, attendance records, transportation, medication schedules, one-on-one tutoring, and many other vital services in the school districts. School employees make sure your students are safe, well-fed, comfortable, and accounted for. We are the eyes and ears of the school campus and the watchful adults making sure teachers can concentrate on teaching. I don't think any parents in our community want to worry about our teachers worrying about whether the faucets are leaking and the lights won't come on today. A $4.8 billion budget cut is equivalent to cutting more than 137,000 school bus drivers, custodians, instructional paraeducators working in the classroom, food service workers, school clerks, maintenance workers, security officers, and other vital services that we provide in the schools. We have always been willing to make our cuts and sacrifices for our students, but these cuts will permanently hurt our schools and our students. It would be a giant step backwards for California's public education. Our students and schools did not create this budget problem, and their progress should not be undermined because of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We believe, and our students know it, classrooms come first. And here representing the classrooms and the teachers is the president of the United Teachers of Los Angeles, fresh off a very impressive victory, A.J. Duffy.
Sounds like I won. We shouldn't be surprised because here we are again. There's a fiscal crisis in the state, and this governor, like others in the past, wants to cut the budget on the backs of public employees, of teachers, of the students, and the communities that they live in. You know the public employees I'm talking about? Classified workers in SEIU and CSEA, Teamsters, building trades, teachers. Those people who carry the fabric of society on our backs, we're the first to be cut. And that affects the students and the education programs in this state, and that is not acceptable. So let me address the governor. Remember 2 years ago when the nurses led the way and lit a fire, and they were joined by UTLA and the California Teachers Association and the California Federation of Teachers and firefighters and policemen all over the state, and we dogged him and we gave him no peace. And this time will be more of that. So I want to stand here and speak for everyone here and for every student in the LA Unified School District and across the state of California. Governor Schwarzenegger, you cannot close the budget shortfalls on the backs of teachers and students and public employees. Not this time. No how, no way. Thank you.
Our final speaker before we open up to questions. These are the students. They represent the dreams of their mothers and their fathers. Same for me. I know same for Senator Scott, Senator Vincent, Senator Padilla. We succeeded because of the dreams of our parents. And here today to speak out as a parent, Leticia Donato, to talk about what this means for her and her children and her family. Leticia?
Good afternoon. My name is Leticia Donato, and I'm very angry with Arnold Schwarzenegger proposal. This is so wrong. I'm just thinking that it's barely getting up for the students. Where is he going to send them with this proposal? It's totally wrong. I have my daughter here that what is going to happen if we let this go, if we let this pass? What kind of education is she going to get when she's ready to go to school? And with all my respect, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger, this is direct to you. I would like you to think about the students, to see the future of United States. The main thing is education. And I would like you to go back to your movies and let somebody else run this proposal. Also, I would like to invite everybody to not let it pass this law. We need to get, as a parents, get together and send a letter that it needs to be addressed to the Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I want to say this in Spanish. Para todos los padres, por favor, tenemos que estar juntos y mandar estas cartas para que no pase este propósito que él quiere mandar. Poner a los estudiantes totalmente mal es bien negativo para United States. Es lo principal, es la educación de nuestros hijos. Y dije que si cuando mi niña esté lista para ir a la escuela, ¿qué clase de educación va a recibir ella? So, no debemos dejarlo pasar. Y con respeto le quiero decir al gobernador Arnold Schwarzenegger que por favor regrese a las movies y que alguien que se preocupe más por United States y la educación de los niños que lo pongan en ese puesto. Gracias.
In closing, we don't want a bucket list of educational dreams. We want a first-class education system for this Golden State. We'll open it up to any questions you may have of the superintendent, the principal, or senators. It's going to take negotiations. It's going to be putting all options on the table. Last year, the California budget was held up for some 51 days over issues that were really insignificant. This year, it's about education. We are calling upon the governor to meet us at the table, to, in the Senate, bring at least 2 Republicans to pass this budget, more on the Assembly side, put a mix of both cuts and revenue. We cannot resolve this budget by slashing further into the bone for education. There's much that we can do. It's early in the budget year, but this simplicity of simply saying no new taxes, no more taxes, that's a soundbite. It doesn't match the reality. So there are ways we can do it. It's early in the year. We invite the governor to come. Let me ask the chair of the Budget Subcommittee on Education if he would comment on this.
Well, let's start with abolishing the yacht tax, that that loophole that says that if you keep your yacht out of the state, you buy a yacht and you keep it out for 3 months, you're going to end up not having to pay sales or use tax. I can't imagine continuing some kind of tax loophole for yacht owners and then doing what we're doing to children. That is unacceptable. We could look at all kinds of ways of raising revenue. So make it very clear, we are interested not only in a matter of making cuts and reforms where necessary, but we are willing to say, let's go ahead and raise revenues and raise some taxes, close some tax loopholes, because we need more money. I think every parent, every citizen in the state of California is willing to share in this rather than doing it all on the backs of school children. I think they would be, because they would know that education is more important. Do you think it would bother me to pay 1/4 cents more on a sales tax in order to help schools? Not at all. And I think all of us would do that. And certainly we can look at tax loopholes. The legislative analyst has come up with $2.7 billion of closing tax loopholes, such as changing the net operating loss, changing the yacht tax, and doing some other things. Those are the kind of changes that we need to look at. We can't simply say all we're going to do is lay off teachers and ruin our school system. That's unacceptable. And if you want to know something that will really hurt the economy, you begin to damage the schools of the state of California. That's going to actually destroy the economy in the future, because we won't have educated personnel.
Jack, thank you very much. But I want you to hear this. This is very important. And listen to me very closely. This is in writing. And I'll see who gave it to me. It says, in the coming months, the Democratic Caucus Central Commission will make it clear and irrefutable, that in case of a balanced budget that combines non-essential services, cuts, and revenues. And it says this: if we define essential services, K-12, health and human services, all other subjects will be introduced to consolidation, to reduction, or to elimination. And that comes from Don Carrata, who's the president pro tem of the Senate, and you know what his past job was? He was a teacher.
Let me just say, we've just been joined by our student, Atiana Duran. She's a member of the Lincoln High ROTC. She has just joined us, and she wants to tell you what it means to her. Thank you, Atiana, for joining us.
Hi, everybody. I don't have a speech ready, so I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm actively involved in ROTC, as you can see. what it teaches, we have our students back there. What it teaches us to be better citizens. It's taught me to be a better leader. It's actually led me to the Lincoln Heights Neighborhood Council. I am now an elected official. I represent the youth in my area, so that's a good, yeah. And just last night, we had our meeting, and we had our students coming to us asking for band uniforms. We had to take community money and put it into the schools. We shouldn't have to do that. We're given money for our community, and we shouldn't have to take it from the community and give it to the schools. The state should do that. And we all know it. And if we're taking more money out of the schooling, we're going to have to do it more often, which isn't fair. I go to school here. We have large class sizes, and it isn't fair. You don't get the one-on-one attention that you need. And if we decrease the income that our schools get right now, it's not going to make it any better. We need more computers. As we're getting more technologically advanced, we have the same equipment. We need to get more computers. We need to get more teachers. If you cut the budget, we're going to have less teachers. That's going to mean bigger class sizes and worse education for all of us. I'm here on behalf of the student body as well as all youth in Lincoln Heights. As a matter of fact, I'm here on behalf of all youth in California. We need better schooling, we need better education, and if you take money away, we're not going to have it. So Governor Schwarzenegger, I've talked to you before about education. I really have, and I'm getting tired of it. You keep taking money away. I've talked to you about it before, and you don't seem to get it through your head. So it's going to be straight to you. We need money, and we need it now. And if you're going to take it away, and you wonder why we have increased, if we have more people dropping out of school, it's because they don't want to be there. Because it's not pleasurable. You're here, the lights turn off. And the longer we stay here, and nobody wants to be here. Well, of course people want to be here. But if you take money away, it's not going to help our education at all. We had to take money out. I'm going to keep it brief, but we had to take money out of our community money to give our band, which is servicing the community as well as the school, money for their uniforms. ROTC, we barely have enough money to get through. Our instructor is the only thing that keeps it going. And I'm getting tired of it, so Arnold Schwarzenegger, don't take our money away. We need it, and we need it now. Thank you.
I think you're looking at a future senator or superintendent or governor. Any questions for Superintendent Brewer or the principal? Okay, then thank you so very much. We are dedicated. Remember, we are at Lincoln High School. This is the words of our great president, government of the people, by the people, for the people. Proposition 98 was passed by the people, for the students in California. Governor, don't suspend it. Thank you so very much.